Bringing you up to the minute and relevant news in local and international maritime trade. This is Nimasa This Week. Hello and welcome. My name is Uetiola Doyle. The National Task Force on the Implementation of Ballast Water Management in Nigeria has adopted the National Ballast Water Management Strategic Document of the International Maritime Organization. Now, this document was adopted during the 6th meeting of the National Task Force, which held in Lagos recently, and it will pave way for the enforcement and implementation of the convention here in Nigeria. Our correspondent, Rachel Lubani, reports.
Studies carried out in several countries have shown that many species of bacteria, plants and animals can survive in a viable form in the ballast water and sediments carried by ships, even after journeys of several weeks' duration. Subsequent discharge of contaminated ballast water or sediment into the waters of port states may result in the introduction of unwanted species, which can seriously upset the existing ecological balances into the areas where such contaminated ballast water is introduced, thereby posing health threats to indigenous human, animal, and plant life. Recognizing this fact, the Global Ballast Partnership Coordination Unit of the International Maritime Organization (IMO) established the National Task Force (NTF) and drew up action plan roadmap for ships, ballast water control and management. The NTF is made up of representatives of all relevant federal and state ministries and agencies as well as research institutions. In order to effectively carry out this task, a technical scientific subcommittee was constituted. It was mandated to develop methods and strategic plans for the effective implementation and enforcement of the Ballast Water Management Convention in Nigeria, to be adopted before the end of August and submitted to the lead agency Nimasa, who will then forward it to the IMO consultants come September. This underscores the importance of the 6th meeting of the National Task Force held recently in Lagos. The chairman of the NTF, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of Nimasa, Mr. Ziakere Patrick Akpobulukemi, represented by the head Marine Environment Management Department Nimasa, Mr. Babatunde Adewale, explained the highlights of the meeting.
All the stakeholders of IMO, the member states, agreed to have what you call ballast water management system. Because we discovered that over the years, ships coming into Nigeria, when they come with the loads, they need to do what we call balancing. And to balance, you need to pump out what you are coming from and then taking out the water. During that period, there are a lot of species, because there are alien species that can be dropped in our water. And most of them that are maybe stronger than the species we have in Nigeria, some of these are our minor organisms. So we need to protect against that one.
The chairman of the Technical Scientific Subcommittee, Engineer Olu Akinsoji, who presented the report, stressed on the relevance to the implementation of the convention.
Nigeria is number 14 in the Global Ballast partnering countries, and we have ratified the convention, which means we have a lot of obligations to ensure that we even lead other nations in this matter. You know that Nigeria is vulnerable because of the number of tankers that come to the country, and almost all tankers take ballast water.
The Assistant Director, Marine Environment Management Department, Nimasa, Dr. Mrs. Felicia Morgo, speaks on the way forward and Nimasa's efforts in ensuring a healthy marine environment.
The steps are already being put in place. We have the responsibilities of the line agencies, as I said, then research areas that we should concentrate on, and also the multilateral and bilateral relationships we have to adapt, with neighboring countries, people in the same region with us, and even other big shipping communities that come to Nigerian coast for one business activity or the other. And Nimasa believes that all the line agencies should be at the same level of thought. So Nimasa takes time to educate everybody and also considers the input of other organizations.
Participants made their suggestions and appraised the reports.
We are in the field of environment, and of course this water is discharging to our waters. So any way we can collaborate with our sister agency, as in Nimasa, we are all working for the same government. It's for the general protection of the environment.
It is expected that the adopted document will fast-track the implementation and enforcement of the convention in Nigeria and ultimately promote a healthier environment.
Marine notice from the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa to all ship owners, all ship operators, all masters of ships, all boat operators, all ship agents. Medical advice on Ebola virus. Notice is hereby given that there has been reported cases of individuals infected with Ebola virus, particularly within some Western African countries, and confirmed cases in Nigeria. Vessel owners and operators are required to 1. Report sick or diseased crew or passengers on board within the last 26 days to Nimasa Port Health Services. 2. Masters should inform Nimasa's officers boarding their vessels of any ill person on board. Some points to note concerning Ebola virus. 1. Crew or persons could be infected if they come into contact with blood or body fluid from somebody who is sick or has died from Ebola. Sick wildlife or bushmeat from infected animals. Healthcare personnel caring for Ebola patients, family, friends in close contact with ill person are at high risk. 2. Symptoms include fever, headache, joint and muscle pains, sore throat and weakness, followed by diarrhea, vomiting and stomach pain, skin rashes, red eyes, and internal and external bleeding by patients. 3. Sanitizers should be placed on board and hands should be washed regularly on contact with any external objects or persons. 4. Crew or persons should monitor their health status in the last 25 days if their vessels has been in an area with an Ebola virus outbreak. Be warned, Ebola virus is real. Signed, Management.
The essence of the sanitizer is to keep our people safe, is to be alert so that this deadly Ebola virus should not have inroad into Nigeria or any part of the country.
The Director General of Nimasa, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Apobulokemi, has once again called on the Nigerian media to continue its support for the transformation agenda of the President Goodluck Jonathan administration. The DG made this call at the 10th All Nigerian Editors Conference that took place in Katsina State last week. The DG noted that since the renowned world economist listed Nigeria as one of the new emerging economic powers, what is left is for Nigerians to harness the identified potentials and ensure that the country takes its rightful place amongst the Committee of Nations. Hear, hear. Now let's take you into the Local Government Commission multipurpose hall in Katsina State, where the Nigerian Guild of Editors hosted this event.
The usually serene ancient city of Katsina came alive as over 300 senior media delegates from both the print and electronic media converged on the city for the 2014 edition in the series of the Editors Conference. The 10th All Nigerian Editors Conference, organized by the Nigerian Guild of Editors, which took place in Katsina State with the theme Credible Elections and Good Governance, the Role of the Editors, had in attendance stakeholders from the media, government officials, representatives from the private sector, and government agencies and parastatals. President of the Guild, Mr. Femi Adesina, noted in his welcome address that sustainable development in Nigeria is tied to credible elections.
One thing that has been a talking point is the quality of our elections. We want elections that are not only free, but also seem to be free. And elections that are not only credible, but which even the blind will see to have been credible. Corollary to these kinds of elections is good governance.
Katsina State Governor, His Excellency Governor Ibrahim Shehu Shema, said that growing capacity, both human and infrastructural, is a basic requirement to sustain democracy in the country. He noted that despite being a hinterland state, his administration has identified the maritime potentials of the country and thus sponsored indigenes from the state to study marine engineering, amongst others. He said that the 23 students the state has partnered Nimasa to sponsor under the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program is part of his administration's commitment to develop human capacity in the states.
We packaged a scholarship program, foreign scholarship program. I have over 700 students now who have studied, they have completed, who are currently studying in foreign institutions like. And they are just studying any course for apprentices. We send our young kids from each of the 24 locations. We pick them deliberately from individual families, intending kids who are allowed to practice family education. We send them to foreign nations, have a degree in pharmacy, a degree in medicine, bachelor's in society, radiology, dentistry, marine engineering, environmental engineering, and the rest. And alhamdulillah, for 700 of our kids are benefiting from this program.
On his part, the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Shekarahu, said quality education across all sectors, including the electorate, is essential to nation building. In his goodwill message to the conference, the Director General of Nimasa, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Akpobulekaimi, urged media practitioners to use their various platforms to support the transformation agenda of the President Johnson administration to attain sustainable development. Mr. Akpobulekaimi, who was represented by the agency's head of public relations, Mr. Isiche Osangbi, noted that the media has a major role to play in making Nigeria attain its potentials, as stated by renowned world economist Jim O'Neill.
Recently, this year, there was a global perception that Nigeria in the next 5 years will be a global leader. Nimasa came up with an acronym which they call the main countries, which is Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey. We will be there. If we are going to do a great nation in another 5 years, we are saying that just like we had in the last year, moving the nation from oil and saying that we are looking at Nigeria beyond oil. We are saying we stand by you, and the team this year is very hard. If you need to move forward, then you need to have a credible election and good governance.
Speaking further, he noted that the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa has effectively partnered other organs of government to ensure the provisions of a safe and well-secured environment for the growth of the maritime sector in the country.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency is a position to lead us through, because again, the maritime sector will be the key sector to be able to take part of. And that will happen soon, and we are putting the right capacity to do that. By securing our maritime workers, we have to see the relationship we have with the Navy and the Air Force, coupled with our supply surveillance system to make sure that the workers are safe and free for foreign investors to come no matter what happens.
Former Governor of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, and Alhaji Umaru Mutalab were amongst other speakers at the event. 35 new inductees were admitted into the fold of the Nigerian Guild of Editors.
Marine notice to ship owners, shipping companies, terminal and jetty operators, port facility owners, IOCs, maritime stakeholders. Enforcement of compliance with International Ship and Port Facility Security Code. Pursuant to the agency's regulatory mandate as the designated authority for the implementation of the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code in Nigeria, the general public is hereby informed as follows. that upon assumption of duties as the designated authority for the implementation of ISPS code in Nigeria on the 21st of May 2013, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa adopted a multifocal strategy of enforcing compliance, which included inspection of all ISPS applicable facilities, sensitization of stakeholders, training of key personnel, and revalidation of expired certificates. That deadlines were issued and have been severally extended to enable non-compliant facilities upgrade their security infrastructure and put in place the statutory framework demanded by the ISPS code, bearing in mind the need to avoid unnecessary disruption of commercial activities in the facilities. In the light of the foregoing, notice is hereby given that having exhausted these channels, the agency has resolved to take steps to ensure the withdrawal of maritime services to all non-compliant facilities from the 7th of September 2014. All port facility owners, operators are accordingly advised to note the foregoing and ensure that their facilities comply with the ISPS code to avoid any sanctions. For further information or clarification, please contact Secretary ICIC via email isps.icic@nimasa.gov.ng or on phone number +234 80 349 75876. Signed, Management.
A situation where vessels are being attacked in our waterways or in the Nigerian maritime domain can no longer be tolerated. It is the desire of Nimasa to guarantee zero tolerance for any form of piracy. Therefore, it is our desire, and with the clear directive from the government, we have to join hands together to stop this kind of illegality.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has stated that it will not rest until full compliance of the International Ship and Ports Facility Security Code, otherwise known as the ISPS Code, is fully attained in Nigeria. Captain Waredi Eneso stated this on a visit to the new ship, Kota Sabas, in Lagos recently. In our next report, our correspondent, Rachel Ubani, X-rays Nimasa's role in ensuring safety on our waterways and also takes us on an inside tour of this marvel called Kota Sabas.
Shipping accounts for approximately 95% of world trade by volume and is indeed the most international of all the world's great industries. This is why the interface between countries is needed for sustainable growth of the business and in order to boost a robust maritime domain awareness. One of such interface is the partnership between the Pacific International Shipping Lines (PIL) and West Africa. Recently, PIL introduced its biggest ship, the Kota Sabas, to Nigerian waters. Built in China, the ship has a 3,800 tonnage capacity and moves at an average speed of 37 to 38 nautical miles. The ship, which has 7 decks, is the first vessel of 8 series purposely built for West Africa and is called the Aframax. Built with the sophisticated and latest technology, some of the facilities on the navigational bridge, like the VHF for communicating with the port state control of other ships, electronic chart system which enables the ship operate without the use of paper charts, the telegraph, also called the automatic gear, the automatic identification system, and the emergency telephone that operates independent of power. The captain of the ship, Atavan Ati, explains further.
We have the electronic chart system. So this vessel built, we can operate without paper chart. This is a telegraph, same like a car accelerator.
It's like the automatic gear. This is the ship's one. Okay. See how they copied what was on the ship.
So the engine can be controlled from here as well as on the side. and 3 places in engine room, machinery space. So total 6 places we can control this engine.
A visit to the engine room, which looks like a big manufacturing industry, reveals the control console, the alarm monitor system, the storage tank containing the marine diesel oil, and the sprinkler, a specialized water pipe in case of a fire outbreak. The engineer Shen Kintong tells us more.
This one is AMS for all alarm, and it's some parameter setting. It's from here. So, and most important is list 2 for control main engine. Like here, we can check all main engine parameter. Like main engine manual system, safety system, we go here and we can check all parameters.
The high level of safety measures put in place on the vessel is also remarkable. Safety gadgets like the life buoy, the life raft can be seen on the ship. This goes a long way to show Nimasa's commitment in ensuring that ships plying Nigerian waters adhere to safety rules.
I haven't seen any problems myself, so yeah, it's never as bad as what people say when you arrive. You can see it's okay. So from a security point of view, I feel quite comfortable.
The Director Shipping Development, Captain Waridi Eniswo, shares his experience about the Kota Sabas and the significance to Nimasa.
We are very proud that as this ship left its loading areas, the first country it visited in Africa is Nigeria. So it's a big honor to us. This visit has been inspired by these emotions, one, and also the CEO of Pacific International Lines, SS Theo. He's been a very, very humble person. He is willing to develop the trade in this particular region. You can see that PIL is fast becoming the largest container shipping company in this particular region. And this is the new beginning for a lot of partnerships between we, the regulatory body, and the shipping companies as well.
Up next is the new segment of Nimasa This Week.
Wreck Removal Convention enters into force. Ship owner liability on the horizon. The Nairobi International Convention by IMO on the removal of wrecks has entered into force. The convention provides a sound legal basis for states to remove or have removed shipwrecks that may have the potential to affect adversely the safety of lives, goods, and property at sea, as well as the marine and coastal environment. It will make ship owners financially liable and require them to take out insurance or provide other financial security to cover the cost of wreck removal. It will also provide states with a right of direct action against insurers.
Nimasa, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. For Obonga shipping registration, no. Nimasa, commercial shipping, no. Nimasa, maritime labor,
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's maritime watchdog, established to promote maritime safety, security, commercial shipping, and regulate maritime pollution. Nimasa is well positioned and committed to take the development and standardization of Nigeria's maritime industry to greater heights. Are you interested in the local or international commercial shipping business or in seafaring and do not know what to do or how to go about it? Nimasa will guide and see you through. Sea pirates, oil thieves, and all forms of dubious and illegal business on Nigeria's maritime domain have no hiding place because Nimasa's eagle eyes will locate or catch up with you. For Nimasa, it is zero tolerance to sea pollution as all abandoned ships and wrecks on Nigeria's waterways which pose danger to sea transportation will be cleared. Nimasa, promoting safe and secure maritime environment.
Now, as we like to do at this point in the show, we've gone trawling through our email box to bring you answers to questions that we have determined to be some of the most frequently asked on this show. And this week, we begin like this.
Our frequently asked question for this week is, What are the advantages of seeking approval for the construction of a ship by prospective ship owners? Engineer Dominic Alim gave us the answer to the question.
You need to start to build a ship, but you need to build a ship that is going to last the time and also going to withstand the stress of the job that they are supposed to do. I've already said it is a requirement by law. That is the first thing. But beyond that, also, the ship owner and the ships to be built in Nigeria need to be able to compete with standards. And the ship owner must know that it is when a ship is built to a specific standard, because a ship, when it goes out there, is subjected to a lot of stress, both from the waves, from the load that you are carrying. And you need to build a vessel that can withstand those stress. And it's from calculation. You ensure that these vessels are strong enough and stable enough to withstand those things. And also, it also helps the ship owner because, when a plan has been approved and you are now building as per specification, you know that that vessel you are building will come out as a standard vessel.
And so we come to the end of this week's packed edition of our show. Now, if you don't go away with anything today, remember this. Nigeria has been listed as one of the new emerging economic powers. All that's left for us to do is to harness the identified potentials. Now, as we want to say on this show, we're interactive. All you need to do is send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now, we're going to be here, same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.